All right. Welcome back again. So there's so much that needs to come through me that's begging to come out of me today. But this particular one, I wanted to come back and revisit because it's something that's really important to me. So look, let's just get right to it and talk about Will Smith hitting Chris Rock live television on stage on an international platform. Okay, I've already started seeing the conversation and the buzzwords and the titles of, this is black men should do better. Black people should be doing better because this is why people think we're violent and men are violent and they should know how to do better and yes, but and all these different stories. All that's BS right now. Every single one of those stories are BS. Now, fact of the matter is I'm going to get to my point here and what I want to transmit to you right now, and that is that we don't actually give each other the opportunity to be human. All right, we're always looking to label, title, and try to transmit what we think someone else is going through, and kind of instill our sense of values on someone else. I know, yes, we live in a society, and in this society, we determine what is acceptable or not. But for you to constantly push people into a direction that is impossible for them to thrive and to get out of is why we find ourselves in these very uncomfortable situations where we don't know how to be comfortable with ourselves. We don't know how to express ourselves. We don't know how to be ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to be ourselves. So we constantly live in a lie. We're always on stage, always wearing the mask. All right? So with that, let's just go from the top. The one that resonates with me the most, where people want to say, "Well, this is a case of black on black violence. This is why people look at black people as violent. We should do better. These people are rich, they're famous, they have platforms, they're influencers. So why are they acting this way?" Well, I just saw two men. I saw one man obviously not appreciate the context and what he was saying about his wife, and he went to defend his wife. That's what I saw. I mean, the fact that he happened to be black and the host happened to be black, that's a whole different story. I saw a man, Will Smith, who didn't like and appreciate what was being said about his wife, Jada Pickett, and he took it upon himself to go let the other man know he was unhappy with that. Now, the why and the how, yeah, there's context to that. I'm less concerned with that, but let me be clear on this. I don't agree with the why and the how. The why Will Smith did it because he was upset. Something about it he didn't like, right? I get that. But it's also a showbiz. They're both comedians. This is Chris Rock's style, right? And the funny thing about this is we're always able to appreciate someone else's jokes about someone else until it comes back to us. I've seen Will Smith and other actors laugh at all jokes about other people, but once it came back to him, he didn't like it. So I'm not, again, I don't agree with his reaction, but I'm not living his life. I don't know what's going through his mind, through his marriage. The how he decided to manage that. The why is this. The why was the comment. The how was the slap. Again, I don't agree with that. I think that we need to resort to you putting our hands in vines on someone else to show someone else that we are unhappy with something. There's another way to approach that. Again, however, I don't know what's going on in that man's life. But to me, more important beyond all that is what I saw was a man who stood up for his wife. Now, he's going to have to live with the consequences of that, whatever that consequence may be, if there are consequences. Chris Rock may decide to press charges. This award association that may decide they don't want have him back, and he has to face that as consequences. But I want you to allow yourself to focus on that part of it. The fact that for those of you who want to say this is why we see black people as violent, this is why, you're also probably the same person who says, well, there's not enough black fathers. There's not enough black men who respect black women. There's not enough black men who are in the homes. There's not enough black men who are loving. What I saw was a very loving act for his wife. Now, Chris Rock probably didn't think so, but for his wife, that was a very loving act. So can you focus on that? Can you stop being so critical about the how it was looked and just put yourself in the emotion of someone else? Someone else was defending his wife who's going through or still going through a skin problem that caused her hair to fall off. So for her, it's quite sensitive. I'm sure that comment, albeit a joke. We don't know what that's like behind closed doors, but do you know what that's like? What it's like to go through something very personal? Something that's really hard for you, something that touches you personally, and have someone joke about it and know it's a joke but still have it hurt? Have you ever wanted to slap someone for talking about you, your kids, your wife, your husband? So again, I don't agree with the why or the how. But beyond that, I see a man who cares and loves about his wife and is willing to defend her at any cost. And let's actually take this back a little further. For people who are talking about men as well, men are always violent. Men need to control themselves. Well, let's just be honest here. All the images, or a lot of the images that we see of men that we like to push in our face, are very aggressive, very violent, very angry. If we see a man cry, he's a bitch, he's a pussy, he's a little girl, he can't do that. If a man wants to be loving and be committed, he's soft. You know, his wife has him by the balls. So where do you think these ideas come from that you want men and or black men to fit into this role of how we should move in society, but yet we don't allow that person, now I'm just using men as an example and black men as an example, but we don't allow that person to move through society. On one side, we criticize them for what they're doing and how they do it, and on the other side, we maintain that. He should know better. He should do better. Whether Will Smith has millions or billions, he's famous, he's a person. He's an emotional person living an emotional experience with his wife who has a very difficult skin disease or skin complication disorder that caused her hair to fall out. We don't know what that's like. Do you know what that's like? I don't. So we don't have to agree with the why he got upset or the how, the slap, but can we allow that man, that person, to be human? Can you allow yourself to stop falling for the narrative that men are violent, black men and black people don't know how to treat each other, we're always being violent with each other? Can you just stop that narrative for one moment and just see a human, a man defending his wife, and appreciate that? And let that man take his consequences, whatever that may be. But every time we, you and I, decide to fit people into a box, into a narrative, and not be human, we are part of this whole big machine of depressed, anxious, fake people. Yeah, you didn't think you were part of it, did you? But you not being willing to see beyond the action, beyond the how, beyond the why, and just focusing on the it and not understand the why, you are part of that problem. And you can be part of that solution if you so choose so. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. For a lot of you, the reason why you are so, it's so easy for you to judge, so easy to criticize so hardly other people who do things that you don't find appropriate, or you think they should be on a pedestal, or you think they should be held to a higher standard, is because you judge yourself as such. Be honest with yourself. Because you judge yourself so much, and you don't allow yourself to be human and show human emotions, do human things, and at the same time face the consequences, you are projecting that on everyone else, not allowing yourself or them to actually live. So what are you going to do about that? That can look a variety of different ways, all right? And I'm just going to ask you to be brave. I'm going to ask you to challenge yourself, to surprise yourself about how it is that you're showing up and how you view this, okay? So again, let's keep it quite simple here. The why Will Smith was upset and how he decided to deal with that by slapping Chris Rock, I don't agree with that. But to me, that's less important than the why. And I think the deeper why is a man who is coming to his wife's honor, right? And he does need to be held responsible for his actions. If anyone decides to do that, to me, not a big deal. Don't condone violence, but I also know that that's a slippery slope to say not a big deal. Then where do we then just let people off? But that's between Chris Rock and Will Smith and his wife. That's between the Academy Award Association. That's between them to figure that out. All right? But us, in this human experience, P to P, people to people, we get to decide that. So with that, I'm done. You amazing people, have a beautiful day. Let people live. You live your life. Be human. Let other people be human, because in that way we can all live more authentically, more fully, more connected, and see ourselves in other people. There's no bad people out there, people who just are emotional, who make decisions based on that emotion in the moment.